let's look at some other interesting games. Another ranked versus ranked. A&M at Notre Dame. This was a great game last year, right? Notre Dame went into College Station, got a big win, and then lost to NIU the next week. Ho-hum. Now it's return the favor time. I think Notre Dame is good enough to hold up against what is a really good Texas A&M offense. I think their defense is good enough to hold up. It's the A&M defense that I'm a little bit nervous about, giving up $140 a game on the ground, Pete. This is a really interesting number, been kind of bouncing around 7 all week. What do you think?
Double digits. Look, the NIU game was Notre Dame just kind of playing or effing around and finding out. Here's the crazy stat I came up with, and it's somewhere. I'm going to get it wrong, but I wrote it up on the preview on CFN. Is Notre Dame, when it doesn't run the ball more than 28 times, it has lost like the last 19 games going back to 2009 or something. It's like this bizarre stat that whenever it's a little chicken and egg when it comes to this, they didn't run it. They forgot to run against Northern Illinois. That's why they lost. They didn't get enough carries in because when the carries come in, everything else works. They didn't get enough. They only got 25 carries in against Miami. So after all the blowback, you didn't run Jeremiah Love enough. Well, they didn't run Jeremiah Love enough last year. He only got 14 carries in last year's game against Texas A&M. I think they start out just bashing away with that offensive line. They've had 2 weeks off, and now they can't focus just on C.J. Carr because he proved against Miami that he can throw a little bit. I think Notre Dame comes out right away with that offensive line and bashes away. I think the defense rested up. That again, the time off is going to matter. Don't overthink the 7. Don't think a 7.5. I think Notre Dame wins this 31-17-ish.
Yeah, it's below the 7 now. I did see some pretty sharp people give out A&M plus 7 earlier this week, so that's why it's off the 7, and you're getting Notre Dame minus 6.5. Here's my biggest question. Actually, I have 2 big questions, and maybe Big 12 Commissioner / Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Fiutak can answer them for me. The first question is, can Notre Dame run the ball with Jeremiah Love, and can they actually give him a real workload? Not like a preseason workload. Can we get this dude 20, 25 touches?
That's not how they work. Remember, Jadarian Price is an NFL back.
He is, but Love is better, right? I love Jadarian Price, but Love is the best back in the country, period.
He is, and last year they had Riley Leonard who ran, and Carr proved he can run a little bit. So last year, and so how where Notre Dame kind of screwed up in their Miami game because the whole game plan was we're going to keep it tight, and then in the 95 degree with 10,000% humidity, they're going to do what they did against Texas, and they're going to wear down Miami, and then over the last 20 minutes we're going to go all Love. So they kind of kept the workload light, and then he was going to get everything. And they tried because what happened was all of a sudden the game plan went wrong, and the game got away from them, and they had to throw to get back to do it. And they still almost won.
Yeah.
But you saw what they did is, okay, crap, we got to get this guy involved. And they tried throwing it to Love, and they're not as good when they're getting Love. They threw 4 straight times to him or something. So they tried to get him the ball, but the game plan that they had coming into it didn't quite work. This time, I think, like you said, I'm going to front load Love in the first quarter, kind of chill him out for a little while, and then use him as Mariano Rivera over the last 15 minutes. That's how because he doesn't get a lot of carries, and he didn't last year either, but they don't have a Riley Leonard to run the ball this year. More Price, but I think you do see that the running game will work this week. They're good. I mean, Texas A&M's got the defense, it's got the coaching, but kind of like my thing with there's Texas A&M, there's South Carolina, there's a couple of programs where, okay, I'll believe it all when it actually happens. Texas Tech, I mean, we've seen this. Nobody's done the least with the most than Texas A&M. They're very good. They could absolutely win it. I think Notre Dame comes out and looks the part again, and then rips through the rest of its schedule and goes to play for the national championship.
That would be insane if they made it back to the Natty this year. The second question I have is how the play calling is for C.J. Carr. Because the one thing I noticed in the Miami game, and maybe this is why they lost the game, probably not. I think Miami was better in that game. But they really only attempted one downfield pass the whole game. Only one throw of over 20 yards the whole game. It was very dink and dunk, very, as Marcus Freeman actually said it during the halftime interview, quick access throws, free access throws. Eventually, A&M's going to take that away. And if you don't threaten them vertically, these are still SEC athletes crashing the line of scrimmage, taking away your run game, taking away the quick slants, the bubbles, the screens. Can C.J. Carr stretch the field vertically against this A&M defense?
Well, the one time he did it against Miami, again, they almost won. Remember, they tied it up. They were down. It was over. And you have an NFL offensive line in Miami with, a couple of first-round draft picks up there. You have an NFL starting quarterback in Carson Beck, and they still couldn't put the game away until late when Beck showed why he is an NFL player and got him in the position. They got the win. But again, Carr got the job done. The plan kind of worked, except the defense just could not come up with that one stop. So you do have the offensive line on Texas A&M. It's going to try to bash away on this defensive front for Notre Dame. And Carr has proven that he's kind of a fearless guy, and that kind of came out in the Miami game. So Carr certainly was not the problem. It was the lines that wore down, and they melted in the heat. So it's going to be beautiful out in South Bend. It's supposed to be like 75 degrees out and perfect, and so that's not going to be a problem this week.
Yeah, I think 7, I'll take A&M. Under 7, It's a pass for me. If you can find a 7, maybe it's because I just don't believe in Carr yet, but I'm wrong.
Don't worry about the if either you like him or you don't, and it's either going to be Notre Dame covers or it doesn't. If you like Notre Dame, don't even worry about the points.
That I agree with. If you like Notre Dame, don't worry about them winning by 3.
They're going to win by, I think they win by 12-ish to 14. Again, like 31-17-ish, I think is where this comes
I do bet numbers, not teams. I am more of the analytical gambler. Pete's more of the I'm going to tell you straight who's going to win the game and you figure out the rest on your own. That's kind of the vibe of the show. That's why it works for us. I think it's 7, I'll take A&M. But at 6.5, I think it's a pass.